Jai Jinden for everyone. Today we've got Shrutiben, who's going to be talking or teaching us about the Jain Universe and Jain Geography. Shrutiben is a retired hospital optometrist. She's done a master's in Jainism from SOAS in 2010. She's also currently teaching SCVP South London on Zoom. And she's an affiliate with Srimad Rajchandra Adhyam. Sorry, I can't say
Srimad
Adhyamatic.
Rajchandra Adhyatmik Sadhana Kendra in Koba, Ahmedabad.
Thank you. Sorry, I just haven't heard of it. So.
They're long words.
Yes.
No worries.
Shrutiben, I'm going to hand over to you. And actually, sorry, Shrutiben has requested all questions to be asked at the end. But if you have any questions that you want me to ask, put them in the chat and I'll ask them at the end.
Sure.
Thank you, Shrutiben.
Yeah, we'll have about 10 minutes at the end to do the question answer. Thank you. Thank you, Darshna, for the kind introduction. And also thank you to Shandip Pai for inviting me to speak today. Before we start, we'll start with a short prayer. We'll do Arhanto Bhagwan. So, Om. Arhanto Bhagavanta Indra Mahita Siddhasta Siddhi Sthita Acharya Jina Shashano Natikara Puja Upadhyayaka Shri Siddhanta Supataka Munivara Ratnatraya Radhika Panchaite Parameshthina Pratidinam Kurvantu Vo Mangalam Kurvantu No Mangalam. Pranam and Jai Jinendra, everyone. So today's topic is Introduction to Jain Universe and Geography. And we will talk in terms of structure and function. So structurally, we will discuss the shape, the dimensions, and the main regions of the universe. And in terms of function, how it explains the Jain concept of reality. Also, the karma theory is the foundation, it plays a big role in the Jain reality. And because of the karma theory, we believe in rebirth. So for rebirth, where are we now and where will we be born in the next birth, or, so things like that, it will help us understand. And in terms of the information that I've got here, on Jain cosmology, how do we know about the Jain cosmology? So there are several texts, scriptural texts on Jain cosmology. Main texts are the Triloksar, Trilok Pragnapati, Trilok Dipika, Tatwart Sutra, Kshetra Samas, and Brut Sangrani. But there are also several other smaller texts, which explains the Jain cosmology. So the other question is, why should we know the universe? Why do we want to know the universe? Here we are, so many of us. You might be thinking just out of curiosity what the universe looks like. But, we are here and you want to know. That means, you are the self. I mean, there are fundamental questions you need to ask yourself that it's in relation to self. Where am I? What is my nature? Who am I? So what is my history? Where have I come from? Where am I going to go after this birth? you should be asking these questions. What is my purpose in life? And then where am I in the universe, and what is my salvation? You know, these are the bigger questions we should be asking, because even in this life, we plan short journeys. I mean, you know, going on holidays is very much a thing these days. So we plan our holidays. We look up the map or Google it up, find out where we want to go next, and then you'll find out the conditions there, what are the requirements, what preparations you got to make. We do this, so why not, you know, for the bigger picture, for our bigger journey, what do you want, what is the aim in life? So I had this suitcase, you know, we go on holidays and we plan. The other thing we should know, why do we want to know the universe? You know, there is so much interconnectedness. You look around us and it's just not living things. There are living things and non-living things that exist. And you know, this is all existence, and they are all independent entities, but they're independent, but there is interconnectedness, because we have you know, space, you have air, we have time. How are they all connected? And also, by knowing the universe, the working of the universe, it will help us understand the Jain doctrine much better. In fact, if you know a little bit detail about the workings of Jain universe, your knowledge on the Jain philosophy will be really good. So how do we know the universe as it is? I know I've mentioned some of the texts here, but how did it get into the text? How did the acharyas, you know, write what, you know, the description of the universe? So it is as is depicted by the Sarvagna Bhagwan. That means the all-knowing, the all-seeing, all-knowing Bhagwan, you know, as seen in his Keval Gnan. And Keval Gnan is absolute knowledge. You know, it's so powerful knowledge that Keval Gnan will know all the past, the present, and all the future moments, all in one instant. You know, it is so powerful. Whereas the universe, you know, that we know from schools, it's from astronomical science, physics, maths, and inferences, and we are at the mercy of the instruments that are actually measuring whatever, you know, the telescopes, how accurate they are. The other problem is, you know, the things are so far, like the sun is so far away, that the information we get, you know, it's 8.2 light minutes away. So we actually get the information a little bit later than what it's happened there. And also things are changing. So what the information we're getting is really old information. But what the Kevali Bhagwan, the Sarvagna Bhagwan sees is as things are right now. And what we know from the Sarvagna Bhagwan, as we stated in the scriptures, is the universe is not created, or it cannot be destroyed. So there is no creator, maintainer, destroyer, as you find in other philosophies like Hinduism and other beliefs. So there's no Brahma, the creator, there's no Vishnu, the maintainer, and no Mahesh, the destroyer. Things, they just have existed and they exist. From the Jain perspective, there's a sutra in the Tattva Sutra which says, Utpad Vyay Druvya Yuktam Sat. Sat is reality. This is what the reality is, what the truth is. So there's something that, you know, that is permanent. Druvya is permanence, which is eternal. But in there are modes that Utpad means, you know, there's rise of modes, and then decline of the modes, which is Vyay. So the modes can rise and decline, but there's something that stays permanent in it. For instance, you know, if we're talking about rebirth, so I might have been something else, say an animal in my last birth, and I'm a human person. Next birth, say if I'm going to be a celestial being, so my forms will change. These are just the modes, but that my soul is permanent, but these are just my modes. So in a way, you can say there is a kind of a creation of a mode, and then there is a destroy of that mode, and then the substance is maintained. And because it's not created or destroyed, these substances are eternal. So there's no Big Bang theory like a lot of the the Western science believes. If you think there's a Big Bang, then in the bang, where did the material come from? What was in the space before the Big Bang, before the universe came into existence? So it doesn't answer all our questions. So so what the Jain reality is, what the Sat is, that there are a lot of substances, but all of them can be classified into 6 dravyas, chadravya, or substances. And basically they are jeev, or the sentient being, this living beings. And then there's the pudgal, which is the physical matter, which has taste, touch, color, smell. So anything that you can see around you, you can smell, or you can feel, or you can hear, it is physical matter. And there's the thermastikai, which is the medium of motion. So if the sentient, the jivas like us, living things, or even physical matter, like a ball, if you throw the ball, it's going to move. So what's going to help that go up in the air is it's thermastika, it's the medium of motion, and adharmastika is the medium of rest. Here I'm talking to you and sitting on this chair to be still. It is the thermastika which keeps me stable in my position, because I want to stay stationary. And then there's the akash, the space, because all these substances that exist, you will say, where are you? Where am I? So I'm in the room, or you might say I'm sitting on a chair, and it's set on the floor. But all these things need room, to exist. Without any room, how will you exist if there's no space? So akash is the space. And then the kal is a time factor, which is, if you want to improve yourself, then you need that time, time for improvement. Say, people may want, or just give you a simple example, if I want to cook rice, so from uncooked rice to having it cooked, I need that time, it doesn't happen instantly. So that time factor is also important. So these 6 dravyas are the basic. Anything that you see in the universe can be put in one of these 6 substances. So all these 6 dravya substances, they're all independent, and they're not created or destroyed, so they exist forever. Now, the jeev, I put it in red because we are all jeev, living substances, and you will see variety of jeev. So we will talk a little bit more in detail about the jeev a little later. So the Jain universe, it's made of lok and alok. So lokalok, which makes up the Jain universe. So the lok, if you look at it functionally, the lok is where all the 6 dravyas exist. That is the jeev, pudgal, dharmastikai, adharmastikai, akash, and kal, as I explained earlier. And in fact, here I put in green the karma, because karma plays a big important role in our being, is actually physical particle. It's pudgal. It's very, very fine physical matter, which even the finest microscope will not see a single karma particle or small clusters. It's only when it's in gross clusters that but karmas are very very difficult to see. So where all these 6 substances exists in the loka, and this loka is right in the middle of the infinite space beyond, which is the alok, which is called alok. So there's nothing there, and there's no limit to the alok. It's infinite space. But the loka is a finite, which So this is the law, and everything outside is the alok. So I'm going to go a little bit more detail in the lok, and also how it can be suspended right in the middle of that infinite space. So let's talk a little bit about jiva, because we see variety of living, sentient things. So there are infinite number of jivas. They're all individual, like we see here, all of us, we are all individual souls, and potentially the same, because we have the sentience in us. Potentially we have the same energy, we can be the same, but we are manifested differently because of the effect of the karmas we've bound. So from the Jain perspective, it describes, complex, many biological categories of different species of jivas, depending on the karmas that they're bound. So you can classify in terms of the number of senses the living beings possess. So minimum one sense of touch, or maximum you can have 5: touch, taste, smell, color, and hearing. And also you can have them either as immobile, which is thavar, or mobile, which is trasjiv. So that these are different ways of classification. And then the one sense jivas, so the earth, water, fire, air, and plants are one sense beings, and they can be subtle or gross, so sukshma or bada. So as I say, the classification is quite complex here. And the subtle one sense jivas occupy the whole of the loka, everywhere, in every corner, even in Siddhshila, where the liberated souls live. So these very subtle one sense being are everywhere, whereas some of the other jivs are restricted only certain areas of the loka. Now, in the 5 sense beings, they can be divided as with having a mind or without a mind. Animals, certain animals, 5 sense, elephants and monkeys, and they will have a mind. But there are certain birds, or even certain types of snakes have a mind. But other birds or certain snakes, they although have 5 senses, they will not have a mind. So 5 senses with a mind are human beings like us, as I say, certain animals, the celestial beings, the hell beings are 5 sense beings, and they possess a mind. You can also classify the jivas, the sentient beings, in terms of gatis, or the realms. And there are 4: the narak gati, the hell, realm of hell; tiryanj, which is the animal and plant; manushya or human realm; and then dev gati, or where the celestial beings. So as I said earlier, we are manushya with 5 senses and a mind. And although we've come to the most, the superior form of all these jivas, we have been transmigrating from beginningless time, in all the gatis. So we've been in narak, we've been as animal and plants, we've been as dev. So we've been going round and round these 4 gatis for a long, time, beginningless time. So we're still talking about the functional aspect of the universe. So it's divided into certain regions. So there are physical places in the universe where you can experience your fruits of karmas that you've bound, because the karmas can be good or bad. if you've done a bad deed with bad intention, intention to hurt someone, then you've bound what you call pap karma. Or if you've done a good deed with good intentions to, to help others, then you bound punya karma. And this karma philosophy is very much like cause and effect, or reap as you sow. So if you've done bad to somebody else, then you're actually bound bad karma, and then you will experience the effects of the bad karma. So the same thing will happen to you. So the way the universe is structured is the lower regions are for experience, the conditions there, the circumstances are such that you experience the fruits of your bad karma, the pap karma. And then as you go up, the middle region is where you can experience, there's a mixture of pap and punya, the good and bad karmas. And if you go higher up, then you're experiencing more of your punya karma. So you're experiencing more of happiness, whereas the pap karma is, it's just misery and, and suffering, really. And well, you might, argue that we have heaven and hell here, because you look at the news, and often you see news about diseases. Well, we've been through COVID, and in the historical past, diseases like plague and recently COVID, and then extreme weather conditions, the tsunami, or you have forest fires, floods, famine, or some people are living in luxury. So, but these conditions are only fraction of the physical conditions of misery, unhappiness in hell, and the happiness in heaven. So, it's not comparable to the extremes. And also the other religions, Hinduism, Christianity, Islam, Buddhist, even they have this concept of heaven and hell. So that's not unique to the Jains. So we're looking at the structure of the Jain universe. So it is in the shape, where all these dravyas exist. It's in the shape of a Lok Purush, or the cosmic man. So it's like a man standing with hands akimbo, on the waist, and legs slightly apart. Or you could say that two vases, two inverted vases, or three vases, one on top of the other, inverted. But why, represent as a person? I think people have interpreted in different ways. Hindu philosophers say Brahma, the God created man as a perfect manifestation of living being. So the man is the perfect manifestation. The Jains could interpret by saying that the human form is the form from which you can attain liberation. So that's why it's a Lok Purush. But obviously, this, we know the shape from what the Sarvagna Bhagwan has described and what we've got in our scriptures. So it's in the shape of a person, and the other lok is the lower region. And also looking at our biology, the physical structure, all our basal regions, navel down below, we have the excretory organs and all, the feet, and they're all considered the lower aspects, of our biology. And then you have the stomach, the middle region. And as you go upwards, especially our head, the intelligence, the brain is all at the, the good parts are all at the top. So Urdhva Lok is where, where you experience the happiness. So you have the Adholok, the lower region, the Madhya, where mixed Punya and Pap, and Urdhva Lok is for the experiencing happiness. So let's look at the dimensions of the loka. It's a three-dimensional structure. So it's three-dimensional. Although Loka is finite, it is so vast, the dimensions are so huge that is beyond our imagination, beyond what our brains can think. The numbers are so huge that you have to give just an example to work it out, rather than seeing the figures. And the alok outside is infinite, there's no, you can't measure it. It's just, there's no boundary to it. So this loka is suspended right in the middle of the alok, and it's stationary there because of it is enveloped with 3 layers of air or vatvalis. So the innermost is very dense, like liquid air, Ganodadi. That's the innermost. The middle layer is denser, just gun, it's dense air. And the outermost is rarefied air called Tanu Vatvale. And you might think, how can air actually support that loka right in the middle of that infinite alok? So, I'll just give you an ordinary, everyday example. We all have seen huge juggernauts, these tankers, they weigh tons. And what are they actually, driving on? They will have wheels, 10, 12 wheels. What are the wheels filled with? They're filled with air. So it's actually supporting that weight of the juggernaut. So likewise, this air is quite powerful in holding that log suspended in the middle of the alog. And the measurements are, the measurements are in terms of Raju. They are cosmic measurements. Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, okay. So the measurement is in terms of Raju, which is a cosmic measurement. It is a distance flown by a celestial deva continuously for a period of 6 months, flying at the rate of 2,057,152 yojans. So this is approximately 10 million miles in one kshan, that is an instant. So it's a lot of distance covered. And one may ask, what is a yojan? So a yojan is approximately 9 miles or 14 kilometers. It's a vast number, as I said, beyond our imagination. So the whole length of the loka is 14 Raju, and the lower half is 7, upper half is 7 Rajus, the bottom, the base is 7 Raju, the very top, the head is 1 Raju there, and then it increases at the chest level to 5 Rajus, and then decreasing again at the waist to 1 Raju. And then it's how deep it is 7 Raju. So the bottom base is a square of 7 Raju square, the bottom bit. Now, the mathematicians amongst you might be able to work out the volume, but it is 343 cubic Raju. That's the volume of the loka. And right in the middle there, from the top there, the 1 Raju at the Siddhshila up to, going through the Madhyalok, that is 1 Raju to the bottom. This little cylinder or the pipe is called thrust nadi. So when we're talking about the jiva, we said they are mobile jiva and immobile. So all the mobile, the thrust jiva, actually reside just in that little, that cylinder, that tube. So it's called the thrust nadi. So if it's a little bit heavy going, just to show you this picture, it's the temple in Uttar Pradesh, Trilok Tirth Dham in the shape of the Loka, the universe. Beautiful. So let's start talking about the structure. Let's start from the bottom. The Adalok, the lower region, it is the abode of the Narki or the hellish beings. So the bottom this is divided into 7 regions. It's got lovely names. They are actually prithvis, you know, land like we see here. You know, we have earth. It's named after the color of the hue of the earth. So Ratna is like gem. So Ratna Prabha, Sharkara Prabha, Valuka Prabha, Pank Prabha, Doom Prabha, Tam Prabha, and Tam Prabha is the right at the bottom there. And the Ratna Prabha just at the top there, just below that waist, is again, there are about 3 layers of the Ratna Prabha. So the Narkis actually start dwelling from the lower part of the Ratna Prabha, and the humans actually reside at the top part of the Ratna Prabha. So we're actually top of the Narak region, we're residing. So this is the lower Urdhvalok. And below, right at the bottom here, below the Tam Prabha, there's one Raju height of, there's a pool of what we call Nigod Jiva. These are one-sensed beings, just rudimentary, you could call it rudimentary life forms. And they can be Sukshma or, or Bhadra, but Sukshma, they've been in this pool for beginningless time. And it's only when one Jeev goes to liberation, goes to Siddh, that one from this Nigod pool will come into circulation to go in the, become a one-sensed, earth, water, fire, plant, or then 2-sense being, 3-sense being. So there've been infinite number of Nigod that are in that pool. So this is where we've started, as Nigod, as rudimentary life form. And the other thing is, we have these, I talked about 1 sense to 5 sense with her mind. So there's not a natural progression like the Darwinian theory, where you progress from aquatic to terrestrial, and then, with the monkeys and then human, and, it's not a progression like that. In here, due to karmas, there is progression as well as regression. So even after human birth, we can be born as 1 sense, 2 sense, 3 sense, depending on the karma you've bound. So there's a very much up and down, there's no evolution like that. So it's very much based on your karma. So we say the lower region, the Narak regions are, the circumstances are such so that you experience the fruits of your pap karma. So the Narkis, they dwell in what is like really dark, deep wells called Bil. It's called a Bil. And each Bil is several yojans wide and several yojans deep. And innumerable Narkis, they live in each Bil. So in all the 7 hells, the 7 levels, there's 84,000 bills altogether. There are figures with 30,000 in the first layer. We won't go into details, but yeah, they live in bills. And the other thing is that the from the waist down, the first 4 and 2/3 of the 5th, they are extremely hot, and the remaining 2 and 1/3 are extremely cold, and in fact increasing in cold as you go down. And also the hot ones, they get hotter and hotter as you come down. Just to give you an idea of the heat, there are examples of, say, if you got a ton of lead, and if you throw it from once it enters the Narak region, it's going to melt at once. That's how hot it is, very hot. And cold, I know we have cold conditions in Arctic and Antarctic and top of Mount Everest, but that's nothing compared to the extreme cold that you have in the Narak region. The other type of misery, look they experience is there is constant physical pain from, the Narkis fighting each other, and the mental anguish, they get reminded of how long they're going to live in these conditions, because they have very long life. The minimum life of a Narki is 10,000 years, and maximum is like 33 sagar, which is an astronomical amount, a long time in that life. So they're fighting each other. There's so much hunger. There's no to satisfy their hunger. There's no food as such. And also the thirst. They have this river called Vaitrani River, but if they drink, they got like thorns. They feel it's cutting if they're swallowing it, it's very, very sharp. And also the smell of the land is so bad that just a small bit of, if you take that earth small bit, the bad smell, is spread for miles and miles. You can smell it. And, this torturing, these conditions, they're getting worse as you go, lower down in the lower hells. Also, the bodies of these Narkis are, if you cut the body up, then it will join up again. Say in the human birth, if you feel, you want to die, you might commit suicide and end of the life. But if they cut the body, it joins up like mercury. And up to the third narak, the other is, you get harassed by devas who can travel up to the third narak, and they like harassing you. It's not, they just get pleasure in it. Like example is in our is humans, they do cockfighting or bull, fighting just for pleasure. So they just like to harass the Narkis. So let's come to the Madhyalok. This is the abode of the humans and animals and plant kingdom. So it's a middle wafer-thin region of the cosmic plane. And if you look from the top, the horizontal plane, it's a vast region. And this is the place, it's spiritual, there is spirituality and liberation is possible only from here. We will show that even in the middle, that Madhyalok, it's only limited space that is inhabited by humans. And this is at the very top layer of the Ratnaprabha, as I mentioned earlier. So this is the Adai, the middle, in the middle region, there is still, there is, right in the middle of that middle Madhyalok is the Mount Meru here, in the Meru. And then there's infinite number of islands, and then ocean, island, ocean. It's all concentric, repetition. And the size is, if Jambudvip is 1 lakh yojan, then the ocean is 2 lakh yojan. And then the next Dhatki is 4 lakh. So it's doubling all the time. So there's Jambu, and then Lavan Samudra, and Dhatki is the island, and then Kalodati is the ocean. So it goes on up to Swayam. There are infinite number of oceans and islands. So the Adai Dweep, we call it because it's 2.5 continents. So Jambu, Dhatki, and half of Pushkar make it 2.5. So the Jambu Dweep is 1 lakh yojan. It's this disc shape like Thari. And then the other dweeps are like bangle shape because they're concentric rings. And as I say, the dimensions double as you go further out. So a little bit, let's look at the Jambudweep here. It's the Jambudweep is the middle, because here these are the other island, you know, oceans and islands. So Jambudweep is just that middle bit there, and Mount Meru in the middle. And the continents in the Jambudweep, we have Bharat here at the bottom, and then the next continent is Hemvat and Hari, and this middle band here is Vide, and then it mirrors it, but the names are different. There's the Ramyak, Hiranyavat, and Airavat at the top. Now, the ones that are written in red, although these are the continents there, liberation is only possible from Bharat, Vide, and Airavat. So these are called lands of liberation or karma bhumis. So there's like replication of Jambudweep in the Dhatki and the half of Pushkar. So if Jambudweep has these continents, Dhatki will have twice that of Jambudweep. So if say there is one Bharat in Jambudweep, Dhatki will have two Bharats, because on either side. And then Pushkar has 4, but then that Pushkar island is divided by Manushotar mountains. So that is the boundary marking the limit of human habitation. So effectively, it's only as much as the Pushkar that humans reside. So the Karma Bhumi is where you can get liberated, is in that Madhyalok, is from, there are 5 areas of like Bharat, 5 of Airavat, and 5 of Vide. So there are 5 karma bhumis, and that from that, you know, you can strive for liberation. I will go through this one as well. So we talk about Tirthankars. We don't have a Tirthankar now, so, but there are Tirthankars in other continents like Vide. You will have heard that there are Tirthankars present in Vide Kshetra. So the minimum at any time is in Vide, and there are 4 regions. So if you count Bharat, Dhatki, and half of Pushkar, so there will be 5, and each Vide has 4 regions. So at any one time, you will have 20 Tirthankars present. That's a minimum at any time. And maximum, you can have in each of the 5 Vide, there are 32 regions called Vijayas. So 32 and 5 of Vide, you know, 5 Vide each having 32. So that's 160, and then 5 of Bharat and 5 of Airavat. So maximum, you can have 170 Tirthankar at one time. Now, I've said that it's limited where you can get liberation, but there's also another restriction. In the two continents of Bharat and Airavat, there is effect of time. You know, that there is changes, conditions of Sukh and Dukh changes only in Bharat and Airavat. So there are time cycle like this. One is going, Ausar Pini is the descending, and Utsar Pini is the ascending. So each half time cycle is divided into 6 segments. So the first one is Sukham, means happy, then is the happy, and then is happy, sad happy, sad, and sad. So we're actually currently in the sad area, the 5th ara, the 5th segment in the downward cycle. And the conditions favorable for liberation are only possible in the 3rd and the 4th ara. So currently we don't have a Tirthankar now. And in other regions, you know, the physical and moral fabric, you know, of the condition, the society remains constant. It is only in Bharat and Airavat, you know, the moral fabric. We can see the morality and things are changing here. And it's even going to get worse in the 6th ara. So the significance of this is that although liberation is possible from the human birth, it is only in certain time frame in these 2 regions. I've talked about Mount Meru being right at the center of Jambudweep. So often you hear, as stable as Mount Meru. So Mount Meru is 1 lakh yojan high, and our Madhyalok is around there. So there's 1,000 yojan that goes down into the Narak, that bottom bit, and the rest is up there. So we are in the middle here, Madhyalok. And the devas, the jyotis, the stellars, the sun, moon, they're actually just below the tip of the Mount Meru. And the Swarg lok actually, although the stellars are going round the Mount Meru here, the Devlok actually starts, there's just one fine hair width, and then the Devlok starts. So this is Mount Meru. These are the Jyotish Devas circulating. So let's go to the Urdhvalok, the upper regions, the abode of the celestials. As I said, it starts 1 hair width from the tip of Mount Meru. There are 4 types of devas. The Bhavanvasi, which live in the mansion, and again there's 10 subtypes, and then the Vyantar devas, they're the peripatetic. They travel everywhere. They actually live in mountains and caves and trees, and they can in the Madhyalok, where we live. And then the Jyotis is the stellar, the Tara we call the stars, the Surya is the sun, Chandra is the moon, Graha and Nakshatra, the constellations. They are circulating, they're just above the Madhyalok. And that's why, the Surya Tara, we get the day and the night effect. And the Vaimanik, higher up, there are 2 types, they are, again, more Sukh. So the devas come to Madhyalok when we have the Tirthankars, Panch Kalyanak. You will have heard of the Panch Kalyanak. So they come to Madhyalok for their celebration. And the Vyantar devas and the Bhavanvasi, they also live in, as I say, Madhyalok, and also can go up to the 3rd Narak, as I say, and they just like inciting them and harassing them. So what are the conditions in the Urdhvalok, the Swarg? I said there's a lot of happiness. So they don't have the Prithvi like we have in the Narak, the Ratna Prabha and all that. The devas, they actually lived in palaces and chariots, just in which are studded with made of gems. And in each palace or chariots, there are innumerable devas there, and everything is made of gems. Even if you see trees or plants, animals, they are just ratnamai. They are made of gems. They're not like animals that we have here. And it's always bright there. There's no day or night. There's no effect of the sun and the moon like we have here. It's always bright because of the glow from the gems. There's no hot or cold weather conditions. It's just very pleasant, beautiful. And the devas have, again, Vaikriya bodies. So they don't feel hunger, thirst, sleep, disease, or tiredness. Their bodies are not like ours with blood and, bones and like that. So they don't feel hungry or sleepy or tired, or they don't suffer from diseases. And they're always cheerful. And they're not born of parents. So if you die and be born in Devlok, you will just be born as a fully formed, youth, beautiful youth on a bed of, flowers, all ready made. So they're always happy, and they got everything. Everything to make them happy. They don't miss anything. They got all their thing, they got their devyas and dances and to keep them entertained, and they get everything they wish for. And the sukh increases as you go up to upper levels. So the most dukh is at the bottom with the narkis, and as you go upwards, the dukh decreases and sukh increases. And right at the top, at the apex of the Siddhshila, is the abode of the liberated souls. And the width is the same, one, as you said, 1 Raju, that's the Trasnadi. So the liberated souls, we said only from human form you can be liberated. So they go in just one one movement right up to the Siddhshila. So the liberated souls are pure souls who have annihilated all the karmas. They don't have any karmas. And so if you want to be eternally happy, and they experience, the pure qualities of the soul, which is infinite faith, infinite knowledge, infinite bliss, and infinite energy. So if this is what you want, then you will have to strive, to try and get rid of all your karmas, and you will experience infinite bliss and energy and infinite knowledge. So in summary, the universe is neither created or destroyed, and it is eternal. The details of the structure and function of the universe is as preached by the Sarvagna Bhagwan, all-knowing, omniscient Lord. The souls are infinite, obviously, from the perspective of the soul, because it's the soul that feels things happy and sad. The non-sentient things don't feel happy, sad, so it doesn't matter. But we are the knowing entity. It matters to us. And it's only from human birth that you can attain liberation. And only a small portion of the universe is inhabited by humans. And there's only a very small number of humans. It's a minuscule amount. And it's even a smaller chance to be born where religion is practiced. So all of you here present, if you're sitting here and listening, or, attend satsangs and swadhyay, you are one of the very few, rare breed that, by your punya, good karma, that you got this chance to listen, what the Sarvagna Bhagwan has preached. So back to our initial question, why do we want to know the Jain geography and universe? So it gives you a knowledge of what reality is. So you are the maker of your own destiny. If the karma philosophy and the life forms, and if you see, you can place yourself exactly in the universe where you are, depending on what you experience, you will know your karmic, load and where you want to go. So you can control your own destiny by following the guidelines of the Sarvagna Bhagwan and what the gurus teach you. Right, so I think we've finished on time, and we have a few minutes for questions, if anyone has any questions. Yes, no, Darshnaben, is there any questions?
I haven't received any questions. If anyone's got any questions, please feel free to ask Shrutiben or put it in the chat and I'll ask.
Pranam, I just want to know, Siddhashila Nivit, is it the same like a thrust nadi? Is it the same like a width of Jambudvip, like a 45 lakh yojan?
So the width is 1 raju. So that, because the Madhyalok is 1 raju, so the humans, just in one movement, it goes straight up.
Okay.
Okay. And there are dimensions of, a little bit deep, and it's crescent shape.
Yes.
But at the top, the apex is, 1 raju.
Okay.
But it's like inverted umbrella shaped, and there are dimensions of that. Yeah.
Okay.
The width is exactly as Madhyalok. So because it says that, if you're born as elsewhere in the loka, so when you die, then the movement may not be straight. You might have to do a bend or a turn, the left, right, maximum you can do 4 turns. But as said, it's a upward, you go just in one movement right up to the Siddhshila.
Okay. And second question, sorry, the one which you've shown that at the base of the 7th Narak, Nigod che.
Yeah.
So is this Nigod, and we have heard that Chaudrajlok is full of like Nigod thasi ne bharya che.
Yeah.
So is this Nigod same or different?
So so they are also Sukshma Nigod there as well, all over. But this is the pool, yeah. Some of them are even stay in the Nigod all the time. So there are just so many Nigod. There is a whole pool where there is just Nigod.
Okay.
But the fine Ekindriya Jeev, you know, of all Ekindriya, they are also all Tasotas in the whole of the universe as well. But
So can we say, sorry, so can we say કે અવ્યવહાર રાશિના છે એ bottom of the seventh છે અને
Yes.
બાકીના છે વ્યવહાર રાશિવાળા? Are
There
they?
will be also Nitya Nigod in the universe, you know, Avyavar Rashi.
Okay.
But in the whole of the Loka, but
Mhm.
all of the Nitya Nigod are in there, but in the whole of the Loka could be Nitya Nigod or one that has come into Vyavar Rashi.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank
but they're all Sukshma, you know,
Okay.
saying the Sichila and yeah.
Thank you.
Shrutiben, there's a couple of questions that have come into chat.
Sure.
One says, how is the 5 parats or other regions worked out? And where are the 5 parat kshetras, for example?
Okay, so let's go through that. Yeah. Okay, so this is the middle, the Jambu Island. Okay, this is the Jambu Island. So there's one Bharat, okay, here at the bottom, and then there's one Airavat, and there's Vide, and then there is the surrounded by Lavan Samudra, and then the next ring is the Dhatki Khand. Okay, so that Dhatki is this picture is not representing the width totally. It is if this is 1 yojan wide, 1 lakh yojan is Jambudvip. The Samudra is 2 lakh yojan, twice that, and then the Dhatki is twice that, so 4 lakh yojan. So there is 2 lakh yojan on the left and 2 lakh yojan on the right. So if there is 1 yojan has 1 Bharat Kshetra, the 2 yojan here will have 2 Bharat Kshetra on the left and 2 Bharat Kshetra on the right, in that half of the Dhatki. And then Dhatki is surrounded by the Kalodadi Ocean, which will be 8 lakh yojan. And then the Pushkar will be 16 lakh yojan. 8 times 2 is 16. But only half of the Pushkar is inhabited by the humans. So effectively, it's only 8. 8 similar to the Dhatki, because Dhatki has 8. So if Dhatki has 2 on the left and 2 on the right, same with Pushkar, it's 2 on the left, 2 on the right. So the two Bharats in Pushkar, 2 Bharats in Dhatki, and 1 here in the Jambudvip. Yes, that makes it 5 Bharats. Did you get me? Oh, who was that question? You got the question. So there's 1 Jambu, and this is twice that. So there's 2 in the Dhatki Khand, and there would have been 4, but only half of Pushkar is inhabited by humans, because it's, you know, the Manushatar mountain is the limiting. So it's only 2 again. So 2, 4, and 5 here. So 5 Bharat. Same thing with the 5 Airavat. And then in the Vide, there would be 5. So same, there will be Vide, same here, it will be in the Dhatki, and same in the Pushkar. So that makes it 15. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Yeah,
you.
5, 5, and 5. So 15 karma bhumis. There. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. And more
Thank you.
question?
Yeah, there's one more. Is moksha achieved only at Mahavir Kshetra?
currently only from Mahavidya Shaktra, because in Mahavidya Shaktra, there's no effect of time. It's just like the fourth ara all the time. So they there is from Mahavidya you can, or Vidya or Mahavidya, you can have moksha anytime. But from where we are in Bharat and Airavat, currently moksha is not possible because we are in the fifth ara. And moksha can be only possible in the third and the fourth ara. Yes? So that's why sometimes, when you paying obeisance, you may face towards Mahavidya and, doing Naman to Simandar Bhagwan, the Tirthankar at the moment. So there's always a Tirthankar present in this universe at any time. It may not be in our Bharat Kshetra, but elsewhere in the Loka. Does that answer? Yeah? Any more?
I haven't received any more questions.
I hope that is
Oh, there is one more.
answer is
Sorry.
yeah.
Can humans travel from this Bharat Kshetra to Dhatki Kund?
From Bharat Kshetra to Tatkikand,
Yes.
not in the same bow, because we don't have this ability to, travel like that. But in the next bow, you could go from Bharat to Tatkikand in the next life. You could be born there. So, in all our transmigration up to now, you have covered almost every area of the universe, even in the region of Siddh Shila. Maybe as a Nigod, you've been there next to the Siddh, but because of your karmas, you're not like the Siddh, because the Nigod have a lot of karmas. So in geographically, space-wise, you have been everywhere in the universe. But as a Siddh, obviously, as experiencing the true bliss of your soul is only as a Siddh. But as a Nigod or, as a Sukshma Jeev, you have been in everywhere, Dhatkikan, Vide, you could be, because like earlier we said, the whole lok is filled with this Sukshma, Jeev everywhere. But as a human, as to be born, it is possible to be born in Dhatkikan in the next birth or in the future. But you can't travel from here to Dhatkikan now, not in this birth, not in this birth.
But I heard about Lord Krishna did go to Dhatkikhand to save he went there to save who did he go to save? He went there to save someone from one of the kings.
May Krishna with his I haven't heard, but there are like Vidyadhars, they have the capacity to fly. But
It's like basically the story where I had normally two, because Krishna Bhagwan was
Chakravarti,
no Chakravarti, but he was not. He was Balram. No, sorry. He was he was
Vasudev.
Vasudev. And normally two Vasudevs don't meet, but here he did his horn, and the other Vasudev from the other region heard him. So it's like it's an unusual, one of the 10 unusual
Acheras.
Yeah, that happened.
Okay.
So this was in Dhatkikhand.
Okay, I don't know about it, no. But then maybe as special powers, as I don't know.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right.
Okay. Any more?
પ્રણામ. નારક લોકોનું શરીર પણ વૈક્રિય હોય કે
હા, એ લોકોનું પણ વૈખરી હોય છે, yeah.
દેવ લાઈક દેવ જેવું?
દેવનું પણ in a way slightly different. દેવનું એ લોકોને સુખ આપે એવું છે બધું. Whereas નારકીનું વૈક્રિય, it splits up and ties up again. પણ yeah, it is વૈક્રિય શરીર. Both Dev and Narki have વૈક્રિય શરીર. અને both have અવધિ જ્ઞાન, પણ દેવનું અવધિ જ્ઞાન gives them સુખ.
સારું.
Narkino Tignan gives them even more dukh. It doubles,
Pain,
yeah,
yes.
increases their dukh because they dukh ne dukh જ દેખાય છે.
Okay. Thank you.
Any more?
Shrutiben, I haven't received any more questions.
Okay. So shall we end?
If you're happy to end, we can end. If you want to do a prayer, you can end with a prayer.
Okay. Well, I will just say, Antmangal, I maybe, well, what I will say is, also just the Jain logo is in the shape of the loka, and it's at the bottom it says paras upagraho jivanam, means life, the jivas, support each other, upkar kare છે એકબીજાનો. And this middle obviously is ahimsa, with the 5 rat, or not to harm anyone. And the swastik represents the 4 gatis. You want to go beyond that 4 gatis by practicing the Ratnatrayi Dharma, Samyak Darshan, Samyak Gnan, and Samyak Charitra, to go up to the Siddhashila. So our Jain logo is in the shape of the loka. And well, I will say thank you all for listening. And if I have said anything contrary to our agams, to the scriptures, if I've interpreted wrong, or I would say michami dukram to you all. And everyone have a good evening, good night. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Shrutiben, for a very interesting session today. I'm sure, like I learned a lot about Jain geography, and I'm sure a lot of other people will say the same. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.